This image bothers the shit out of me, but the picture sells me. This is a horrible picture.
When ordering food online, people usually spend between 3 to 10 seconds looking at the picture before making their decision. And it doesn't really matter how tasty your food is. If your picture is not good enough, it will be your competition and not your customers who will eat you up. And the person who knows it's best is Jeff, director at image operation at Volt, who has over 34 years of experience in photographic industry. So welcome to the first episode of Why Your Pictures Suck. Jeff, thank you for being here. Excited to have you at the Photoroom office. We're gonna play a little game. I'm gonna show you 3 different pictures from 3 different restaurants, but all showing the same dish. And your job is gonna be to rate them from 1 to 3. 1 is the best one, the one you're most likely to order, and 3 is the worst one.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah, new job. Awesome.
Let's start with this noodle dish. And for each, you will have only 10 seconds. Are you ready? Putting the timer on.
Cool. A.
And then, which is second, Bird?
CB.
A, C, B. Okay, you're fast. You need it. Well, okay, 8 seconds. Why is A the best one?
A shows me the entire bowl and ingredients. I wish it had a little more space on the left side, but I can understand what am I going to receive and what my expectations should be. B is just way too close in, and it gives me a lot of information that I don't need. And C, I don't think gives me enough information, and I don't like the angle that they photographed that at. I think it's a nice image overall, but it doesn't give me the information to purchase it.
Indian curry. Timer is on.
ACB.
Oh my God, you're so fast. 2 seconds.
Sorry.
ACB.
Oh, sorry, BCA. I was
Okay.
never good with letters. BCA.
I'm not good with numbers. BCA. Okay, why B?
Again, it shows the whole dish. It gives me a good idea of what am I going to receive. It's got pretty light.
C is nice. I thought you would say C, no? What's wrong with C?
C has similar light, but so much of it's in the shadow that I don't get a good view of what the curry is. It also is overwhelming. The size of the bread, the naan there is really large, where I know that I get naan in B, but that's a whole lot of naan. And A just is not appetizing. The way that it's displayed, the lighting, and they didn't take their time when they plated this. They just threw that stuff down.
True, and you know what? I think in reality, A could be the most tasty dish, but it's the worst picture. Don't you think so? This paratha looks actually really good, but it's just a bad picture.
Visually, I'm stimulated by B.
Okay.
I am offended by A.
You're offended. Okay, what makes a picture good or bad?
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that combine into what I want to see in an image. In these images, the story is told in photo B. So I know and I believe that it's a true story, that I will receive what that is. And it's appetizing, it draws me in, it's framed nice, it has nice light, it's in focus, the colors are good, all the things are working in B. C is partially there. And then A is really, really poor. The color of that photograph is not inviting and doesn't make me want it doesn't make me hungry. I certainly don't want to go to this place to eat because it's not a friendly, warm, comfortable environment. The feeling and the story that I'm getting from this is not positive. It's not plated well, they didn't take any care, and they just threw that stuff down and chucked it over to me, and that's what I got. I don't want to spend my hard-earned money on something like that.
I agree. Okay, let's move on to 3. Sandwiches.
Yeah, these are better photos, but my favorite is A, and then B, and then C.
Okay, so why is A the best one?
The camera angle to me is really what sells or fails, because I can see into the sandwich. All 3 of these are they're well done images, but A allows me to understand what the ingredients are and shows me what am I going to actually receive. I don't have to go and read. A lot of people shop with their eyes, and it's important to give them visually, what is it that I'm going to receive? And if I'm allergic to something and I see it in the picture, I'm not going to purchase it, as an example, and I'll move on to something else. And that's really important that, again, we're truth tellers and we give the story accurately to the customer, because if you see something and it's not accurate and you receive something, and especially with something like an allergen, you're going to be offended and you're probably never going to come back, or you're going to be angry at us. And we don't want a customer to be angry. We want them to get what they expected and to enjoy that.
You know what makes me a bit confused about A? All the food crumbles, like the food is spilling out of the sandwich. But I was thinking whether they don't do that on purpose, it makes it look more real. Do you think some restaurants might put hands or crumbles around the plate on purpose?
I hope not. For what we do, keep it simple. My life is fast enough. I'm busy enough. All I want to do is go in and buy something and move on. And so if you've given me a really good example of what I'll receive, that's all I really need. I don't need a piece of artwork that I'm going to purchase a sandwich. I just need to see what it is. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things in A that I would like to change. I don't want to see the drink. Yeah, the drink in the back, the sauce in the back, the napkin up front. I don't care about any of that stuff. But what I really do care about is that sandwich has nice light. It shows me exactly what I'm going to receive, and it looks like something I would like to eat. It makes me hungry.
What would you say are the 3 most common mistakes people do when taking pictures of food?
I think the most common mistake by far is they think that it's a good idea to get in too close. We have the ability to zoom in. I don't need you to give me something where I don't get a little bit of the environment and a little bit of the feeling of the restaurant that you have a brand as a restaurant, and you are pushing forward that brand. If you just give me the ingredients really close up, I see what it is, but it's not appetizing. I want to get more of a feeling and a story, and what is your brand? What is your restaurant giving me? I could make this sandwich at home. It's much more inviting if I have someone that will give it to me and I get a story and a feeling. And you go to certain restaurants because they give you an experience, and I want that same experience through photography. I want to be able to feel what is it that makes your restaurant special. So give that to me. If I get in so close that I just see the item, it's not interesting. B is a very, very close tipping point to being way too close for me.
Okay, so mistake number 1, being too close.
Yeah.
What are other most common mistake restaurants do?
I think that they are so busy they don't take time to just slow down a moment and put some quality and think about what you're doing. And you don't have to be a professional photographer. You're a professional chef, a restaurateur, whatever you are. And if you just slow down a little bit and think about how are you plating something, how are you representing what it is that you're putting out there, and that would be something that I think is most important. Think about what would you want to see as a customer. I want to receive what you're giving me visually.
All these pictures are really good. Which one would you pick?
Oh, by far B.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
B, C, A. So A frustrates me because everything's exploding and it's...
And I think they're trying to be creative.
Yeah, you don't need to be. You just need to be simple. And that's what B brings me, is simplicity. I know what all of that is. I know what I'm going to receive. It looks really well done. It's kind of weird that there's 3 chopsticks in there, but we'll figure that out. Better than 1. C, it's nice, but it's weird how it's stacked. It's very well done. It's just, for me, not the experience that I like from B.
So again, simplicity is the key.
All 3 of these are good images. They show me what the food is going to be when it's delivered. For me, I just want something straightforward and easy. How many pieces do I get? What are they? And boom, I'm out.
Last one, dessert menu. Which one would you pick?
C first, by far. The others are so busy. And then A, it's really beautifully done. And B, it's hard to read.
And those are not real pictures. But I've noticed a lot of restaurants do that with desserts. They take like graphics instead of real pictures.
Yeah, and you're lying to me.
I'm lying to you?
Yeah, well, they're lying to me. They're showing me these things that don't exist, right? And
true. You're gonna be disappointed once you get that cake and it doesn't look like this, right?
Yeah, and maybe it'll look like that, but not really. Those berries are kind of funny. What we need to be very careful with is AI is so good at tricking us. And a lot of people wouldn't have seen that B is AI generated images. That said, they'll get tricked and they won't be upset until it's too late and they've received that cheesecake and it doesn't look or taste or feel like what I thought I was going to receive. There will be a place and a point in which AI will be much better than it currently is. It's moved very fast.
You know what I've noticed when I was looking for food pictures? Do you know why a lot of restaurants in the West don't use pictures of food in their menu as frequently as they do in Asia, for example?
The Asian culture wants to see the truth, right? So a good example, you walk down a street in Tokyo and they have the food on display and it's probably rubber food, but I have an idea of what that actually is. If you walk down a street in a Western country, there's probably big photos and they're probably pretty poorly done and backlit and the color's weird and we accept that. That's our reality. In Asia, they want to actually see it, feel it, understand what is that I'm gonna, and then they'll enter the door. I think it's just a cultural difference for sure. I think that what's going to happen is people have a limited tolerance for something that's in the middle of and of anything. No one wants something that's just in the gray space. They want it to be either real or they want it to be not real. Back to B is in the center. It's not real and it's not an illustration. If it was an illustration, I could go with it. I'd be like, oh yeah, you're showing me something that is obviously not what I'm going to receive, but it's a representation of that. And the representation is really great. It doesn't matter if you're in Asia or in a Western country. I have a lot of tolerance for both of those. But when you get in the middle and you start to confuse me, and again, the truth becomes a little foggy, that's where I get really upset. And I see that in all of our customers. Something that just, it doesn't feel quite right, I don't trust it, and I'm out.
Do you know any crazy success stories where a restaurant changed pictures and then the sales went up?
Yeah, lots of them. The difference between not having an image versus having an image that is below the bar versus an image that's good enough, those are huge differences in sales. Now, as you get good enough to great, the sales difference really flattens out, right? It's exponential going and many times going from no image to having an image. That's a huge difference. But if your image is good enough to great, the sales difference is there. It's not nearly exponential.
Talking about AI, I'm going to show you two pictures. One is AI and one is real. And your job is to tell me which one you will order, and we'll see if you would order AI or the real one.
Okay.
Let's start with this. Tacos.
Yep, I would order the one on the right. And that's not based on AI or not. It's based on I get to see all of the stuff. And I know the picture on the left is AI. It's easy for me to recognize. But that's not what I base my answer on.
Okay. Can't fool you, huh?
Oh, sure, you can fool me. I get fooled a lot.
Let's see the other one. Which one will you order?
Same thing. Order on the right. That shows me all the stuff and what is it going to be like. It's probably the AI image because I see some weird things in there. What I don't.
Which one is the AI?
The one on the right. And the one on the left is a beautiful image.
You're wrong.
Oh, good. That's good.
We managed to fool Jeff.
Well, something's happening because it has a weird line around here where it's in focus and this is so far out of focus it doesn't look real.
Okay, yeah, I see that. Light can be a bit tricky sometimes. Yeah, but no, left one is AI and right one is the real one. The real deal.
Told you I wasn't perfect.
Do you think restaurants will start using AI pictures in the future?
For the items, not for the backgrounds, but they're in the environments.
Yeah,
for the items.
food.
Yeah, I think it's really dangerous at this point because, again, we are creating something that may or may not be true. We're in France, and I'll give you a French example. A chocolate croissant can come in many different variations, from hard, beautiful, rich chocolate squidged on top, or maybe it's got soft, light chocolate sponged inside. AI doesn't know which chocolate croissant you're going to build and I'm going to receive. It's going to give you a chocolate croissant that it thinks is right. I'm going to be really mad if I see a beautiful croissant that I want with the hard chocolate on top, the hard black chocolate on top, and I get something with this soft mousse inside.
not even AI, maybe some restaurants make a mistake where they overdo it with pictures. They hire a professional photographer, crew, studio, everything. They take beautiful pictures, but then on a daily basis, that's not what their customers get.
We have a great tolerance for, I would say, the more enterprise restaurants. And if I use McDonald's or Burger King as my example, I think that they spend millions of euros on beautiful photography in this big set and everything you're talking about. And the food that they create is most likely 99% not edible, but it's beautiful. And then when you receive that McDonald's hamburger, I think your expectation is, I'm going to receive what I know, not necessarily what I saw in the photograph. And we know that that just isn't available on a daily basis at scale. So that's the hardship there.
Are there any tools you would recommend for people who are just starting with food photography?
To do any photography, it's not just food photography. Today's environment is not what it was when I started photography a long time ago. It's free. It doesn't cost you to take a picture. So take many pictures. See, how do you best represent whatever that is? Slow down is my biggest, I think the biggest tool. Slow down and just think about something. When you drive to wherever you're driving to, you abide the speed limits, and maybe you're paying attention to what's going on, I hope, because there's dangerous things out there. The same thing, if you're going too fast, you're not going to be able to stop. And it's important to stop and step back and recognize creativity needs time. You need to be able to stop and step away and look and evaluate and come up with new ideas and things. And if you're a restaurateur and you're going at 100%, it's going to be really hard for you to slow down and do the right thing. But you've got to figure out how to do that, whether it's you come in a half hour early or you've got to make it. If you want to have quality imagery, you've got to make it right. And then there's a lot of tools out there that are simple, really, really intense and scary. So if you're photographing on your phone, you can use the editing program in the phone, or you can go to a point where you download that image into your computer and you go use Adobe products, and they're really intense. And if you don't know how to use those and you haven't been using those and they're expensive, if you're not a professional, you're gonna get really frustrated. And then Photoroom is something that's very inexpensive and very simple to use as well. And there's a couple others out there, but I think that that's really the wide variation from something extremely simple, like just edit it on your phone, or something really, really, really to the other end where it's Adobe product, and then there's a lot of things in between.
Okay. Let's move on to our third game of the day. They're both ridiculously priced. Which burger is the most expensive one?
I think the Wagyu.
Okay, well, we have an expert here. The Wagyu is $1,500. The other one is only $90.
Yeah, the Wagyu is much more beautiful picture, and if you have a burger that's 1,500 euros, it better have a really beautiful photograph. And
True.
Even the 90-euro burger that picture's...
Should have a better picture.
Yeah. I mean, those are the biggest sesame seeds I've seen in my lifetime.
Moving on to ice cream. Which one is the expensive one?
I think the one on the right, the Bear Extraordinaire.
True. It's $1,500 and the one on the left is $1,000. But do you think these pictures tell you $1,000, $1,500 for...
No, neither of these are good enough.
No, how dare you sell ice cream for $1,500 and take a bad picture like this, right?
When you get to that level of opulence, I believe that it's important that you do go to the next level in photography as well. If you look at any brand out there, if they're a less expensive brand, they should have something that looks a little bit less expensive, right? Take watches as an example. If you buy a Timex, you know you're gonna get a Timex and you expect the photograph's gonna be a Timex. But if you buy a Rolex and it has a photograph that's a quality of a Timex, and you're gonna spend, I don't know, 15,000 euros on a Rolex and wait months for it to come in, you're not gonna buy that off of a picture that's Timex quality. You want a Rolex quality picture. Yeah, exactly the situation here. I've got Rolex quality with Timex quality pictures. Sorry, Timex.
Okay, and now pizza. Which is the most expensive pizza? And the price is absolutely insane. You could buy a little car or this pizza.
So my son-in-law is Italian, and I think he would be offended if I get this wrong, but I think that the Figazza is more expensive.
No.
I lost it. All right.
No.
Sorry, Lorenzo.
This one is almost $200,000.
Truffles are that expensive?
Gold.
I thought it was just cheese.
True.
Yeah. So again, Pure Chick needs a better picture. a very highly
Definitely.
elevated picture. This is not a picture for a 200,000 euro pizza. Let's go there for lunch and we'll take pictures for them.
Okay, Jeff, thank you so much for coming over. I have one final question. How long will it take until AI will be good enough so restaurants can actually use it for their food pictures?
Yeah, so the speed in which AI has grown and the accuracy in which it has grown has been really amazing. I lived through the film to digital transition, and that took many years, probably 5 to 7 years before the professionals really bought in. And that was the death of Kodak, right? Because they weren't selling any film anymore, because we were able to take photographs on our phone for free that had quality of 4x5 film. I think the AI has an awful lot of potential moving forward, and we've seen many different shifts in the industry. I always go back to quality, and when you think of music industry, vinyl never went away just because cassettes came out and they were better. And I have a little record collection that I absolutely love to play. Why is that? Not because it's nostalgic, because it's really, really an incredible tool. I don't think that photography goes away. I think that it's enhanced by a lot of this stuff. But if we don't embrace it, things are changing, and Kodak learned a very good lesson in the early 2000s.
If you have any questions for Jeff or for us, leave a comment in the comment section down below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you soon.